Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Set the Pipe. Another episode. I'm Sully, and I'm here with CK, and I'm Bear. And look at here, guys. DDT's joined us. Dave DeTinley on the East Coast.
Yeah, Dave.
Today, there's no guest for us. We're going to go over really men's volleyball. I know women's volleyball right now is in the midst of ending their club, as well as the Division I is doing their spring ball. They just got done for the most part. So we've got men's from community college, JuCo, to Division III to Division I, as well as beach. So without further ado, Bear, I think you should start this off with some community college news. There's some exciting ending to that California realm. What's up?
Before you do that, Bear, make sure you guys set the pipe. Always set the pipe and subscribe. We appreciate you listening.
Like and subscribe.
Appreciate you listening, and we're going to keep bringing these shows to you. Got some great ones coming out real soon here. So
love it.
Let's talk about JuCo.
All right,
so college volleyball here in the state of California. Love to hear about it.
So in California with men's volleyball at the JuCo level, there's 17 teams and 8 make the playoffs. Okay, so basically there's 2 regions, and each region gets to send 4 teams in. And so this year, pretty much Orange Coast College and Costa Mesa kind of ruled the roost. They were on fire. They had won all their matches this year, except they lost to the to Golden West in the last conference match. And so they went into playoffs being number 1 seed, coached by Travis Turner. We had him on the pod a while back. He's a great guy.
Shout out to Travis, by the way. When I was in Southern California, without us knowing, picked up the tab for dinner. Thought that was absolutely fabulous. But yeah, he was a great host for us.
He gave us a beat down. He took us out and fed us. So
you're right. He did. Nice. He gave you guys a beat down. But yeah, they were by far the number 1 seed going into this thing. So
and Mike D'Alessandro, one of our main guys, is the assistant for that team. And so they were number 1 seed. And let's see, I can go down the list. Orange Coast College played Fullerton in the first round. Santa Barbara played San Diego Mesa. Golden West played Santa Monica. And Long Beach played Miramar. That was the first round. But a good story here. There was a 3-way tie in the other conference with Santa Monica, I think Mesa, and Fullerton. And Fullerton's coached by Eddie Rapp, who's another legend in the volleyball world. And Eddie's great.
He is a Paul Mitchell teammate.
He is a Paul Mitchell guy.
And a good guy.
Eddie and I have a long history together. He gave me my first coaching job when he was at Santa Margarita. And that's a funny story, too.
USA.
Hey, so you'll like this, Coley. A little side tangent here. Eddie offered me, or we started talking at your wedding reception. And that was when I go, I'd be interested in coaching. And so that's how that all started. But anyway, so Eddie's team barely made the playoffs. They were the 8th seed on a 3-way tie in that conference. And so he had to play Travis and play Orange Coast College, who was basically the best team all year. And Eddie's team, let me see, I have the scores here. They lost the first set 24-26. Lost the second set 20-25, and then won the third set 28-26.
Dang!
Won the fourth set 26-24. It ends up going 5, and they upset Orange Coast College 15-12
in the
fifth
round too.
First round, and
that was huge.
That is one of that. It was unbelievable in the JuCo community college men's volleyball world. So I'd just like to give a shout out to Eddie for having a great year this year. He did a wonderful job with his squad. And then long story short, Golden West and Long Beach City in the finals. And Golden West came back, or 1-3, and they won back-to-back. They won last year, won this year, coached by Nick Amato, a fellow 49er. And it was quite a season for him. And he did a great job as well with his crew. And because they were a little shaky at first, but they finished strong, and that's what you want to do. So it was an exciting year.
Are there any teams from NorCal that play in this, or Central California that make the regional or anything like that, or do they not have teams up there?
Yeah, there's 17 teams. There's a north region and a south region, and the farthest north we go is Santa Barbara City. And Santa Barbara City, They made it to the semifinals. They lost to Long Beach in the semifinals in 3. And then Golden West beat Fullerton Eddie in the semis in 3 as well.
Bear, do you ever play out of state teams? And the reason I ask this because the AVCA just put out something congratulating the NJCAA national champ. They're from Finger Lakes Community College in New York. But I was just curious, do any of the California teams play outside, or do any of the out of state teams play the California team?
Some might a little bit.
Yeah.
I haven't. When I used to coach at Golden West College way back a long time ago, we used to take our team to U of A, University of Arizona, because they had a club team and it was a club tournament out there. And that was kind of a fun thing in Tucson. We'd go out to Tucson and do that. But there's really no sanctioned matches or anything. It would be between the two teams setting that up.
Yeah, I think there, we talked a little bit about this beforehand, and I know this is like this in hoops, where California just has its own league, and the rest of the country, or most of the country, runs a national tournament. And I'll say this with an exclamation point times 10 by me is, I still think California has the best sports in all of the country, and that goes for everywhere. And a lot of junior college kids come from within their states. Not all of them, but they do get recruited, but a lot of them do that. And I think it would be pretty awesome if California got to compete at that, or at least maybe put a tournament together every year, the following year against the top 2 teams that win, or something like that.
Yeah.
Just to be able to play against arguably the best in the country, whether you guys are not. And I don't know the rules and why they don't. I've never tried to peel back the onion or on that. And next time I'm around someone I know, I'm going to ask why they don't. Do you know why, Bear, or is it just something that's always been like that, where they just stay within California?
Yeah, I don't. I wish more states would have men's volleyball, but basically, I think, Dave, you said there was one other state that has some men's volleyball.
Well, there's a whole league in New York. For instance, there's one there. A kid on my son's team at Dominican was originally recruited out of a Illinois team. He was going to go there till going to a D3 school. So it's a little broader, I guess, than I originally thought too. So
it's amazing when you come from California, you just don't know.
You don't,
right? Because that's all we know. We're on our little bubble when we're there. But people that are listening right now, if you guys know, comment below, educate us a little bit. Have somebody on from that other organization. We'll have them on, educate all of our subscribers and people that like to listen to us, because apparently that we don't know as much as we should. So by all means, comment down below and let us know.
By the way, shout out to Finger Lakes Community College, 3rd and 4 years. Shout out to them.
I'm Dave, you and I should take a look and try to see if we can get someone from their school on here.
Done.
I think it would be fantastic.
Yeah.
And the other thing I was going to say is, and this goes for you, Bear, especially because you're a coach in JuCo in California, but because of the NCAA rule, or what is about to take place, which I believe will pass with that 5th year, there's going to be even more of a need for high school kids to go to play somewhere.
Yep.
And junior college has always been fantastic. My dad coached it when I was a baby at Pierce College in football and baseball. And it's a wonderful opportunity, and it's college sports. And like we were saying earlier, a lot of these teams outside of California actually treat it like college sports.
Did the counting of the 2 years at community college, did that get shot down?
That got shot down. And I think I've explained it. I explained it to Mooney. Is the main reason that happened was the quarterback from Vandy sued the NCAA because he didn't get the extra year while he was in JuCo. Like his JuCo did not give them the extended year that the NCAA gave every other athlete. So when he went back, he said, I want this year back. I deserve it. And so they said, sure, you get it. And then everyone assumed that JuCo didn't count anymore. So no, it does. So with the new, it's not a rule yet, but with the new legislation that they're looking to pass, it's going to be 5 for 5 period, a couple exceptions, but regardless. So if that's the case, 5th year seniors are real, and 5th year seniors could have played for 4 years, not the 3. So you're going to take that kid over a freshman in high school. You just are. Senior in high school.
As well as
COVID years, guys
limit
are
on rosters too, Coley, right? Limit on rosters is you can't have 24 on the bench anymore.
The JuCos with the limit on the rosters too. Just in the last year or two, I've seen even like the smaller JC programs. I mean, I think I had close to 30 kids in the fall, and it weaned down a little bit during the spring, but there was a lot of programs like actually Travis does a great tournament in the fall for us JuCos. It's a big tournament. He runs it like during one of the big club tournaments. So all the coaches are in from out of town from all over the country, right? Yeah. And he does a showcase. And just seeing the teams this year at the showcase, it's in like December in the fall, at the end of our fall season. All the benches, all the programs had at least 20 to 25 guys, which was great.
It's awesome.
We're growing.
Yeah, and to answer your question, Dave, right now, and I don't know, this is the one lawsuit of all the lawsuits. I don't know how they're going to win this one. But right now they're saying 5 for 5, and it starts with juniors that are in college today and the new freshman class. So they're saying seniors, sorry, you're out. Okay. That same senior class came in when they were freshmen. That whole time they've been competing against fifth-year people from COVID. So now it's their final year to compete, without COVID folks. And then everyone else but them gets a fifth year. It's going to be difficult for the NCAA to win that. At the same time, it's April. I mean, it's really May. What are we talking about?
Right. Yep.
May at the end of this week.
Yeah.
And so my son reports in a month. They don't have a roster spot left. So what happens to all these seniors that get a chance to play? Like the good ones, believe me, people will find their spots, and some people may get kicked out.
Yeah.
It's just going to be interesting because they did it so late, and they probably did it for that reason. But I'd leave it up to the NCAA. But I know if my kid was in that realm and got screwed through all his 4 years with fifth-year guys and 28-year-olds and, all of these things, then I would want him to get that extra year back. So it's going to be interesting. My whole point of it was, because I do like to talk, is to go back to junior college. And I think it's going to make men's volleyball, especially, it's going to make all the sports, but men's volleyball at that level is going to be pretty gnarly. It's always been gnarly, as we know. Yeah. I mean, from you guys playing to Maddie Lou playing, I could, everywhere I can keep going on to guys and women and women that played it. Yeah. And it's been gnarly, but it's going to be so much gnarlier because there's just going to be nowhere for people to go. And if you want to continue and still believe and want to follow that dream, like we heard, the other day from one of our guests, that keep that dream alive is you just got to do it. And so JuCo is going to play a big role in that.
Very good. Hey, how about D3 boys? Dave DeTinley usually has his pulse on this. What's been going on? We know what's going on. We need our audience to know what's going on.
Yeah, big year. So I've got a couple bullets here just to kind of describe the year as a whole. But first and foremost, this was the largest NCAA sanctioned tournament so far. There were 21 teams, 14 different conference champions got the automatic qualifiers, and there were an additional 7 at-large bids up for grabs.
14 conferences.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome.
That's just exciting. 2 years ago, and it was only 14. So period. And then when it's 19, and they added 2 more for this year. So absolutely grow the game. Yeah. So I did a little back of hand or napkin math kind of, and it was a strong field. 12 of the 14 number 1 seeds won their conference championships. So it was loaded. And one of the 2 that won was a 2 seed. So it wasn't like it was a 6 seed or something like that.
Yeah.
All right. So I got to give a shout out. Like we've had a lot of talks about Coach Elwell's MIT team. So loaded with freshmen across the board, 3 or 4 made all region teams, that kind of thing. They were 1 set away from upsetting, I believe, Cal Lu it was in the quarters and going to the semis with a heavy laden freshman team. Cal Lu won that and went to the semis. So the final 4 this year was Cal Lu against Springfield, the preseason number 1 team all the way to the end. And we'll talk about that in a sec. And then Upstart's a little bit because they were a seasoned team, but Wittenberg out of Springfield, Ohio played Carthage in the other side. So just so you know, Carthage and Springfield were the higher seeds. They both swept, and then they met for a pretty, holy cow, epic final. It went 3-0 to Springfield. The first set, though, went like 27, 25, 28, 26, something like that. And then Springfield's ball control, I believe, my wife and I watched it, took over, and just ball control wins championships, guys. You can bomb serves, but if you can pass them, and they were fantastic. So Coach Sullivan, friend of the podcast.
Yes, he is.
Wins his 6th NCAA title, and I think 12th overall. He had 6 Moulton championships before the NCAA sponsored. So I remember from our podcast, he kind of said they're going to be in the mix. If you remember, I don't know if he went and looked solely, but we definitely asked him how he was going to do. And he was like, we'll probably be pretty strong. So realistically, they lost 3 matches. So one was against a D2, Concordia Irvine, on their preseason tour out in California. Okay. And then they had like kind of a mid-season. They lost back-to-back. But after that, they pretty much, they went through it. So they had some tough tests, a bunch of 5-setters, but in the end, wire to wire.
I'm pretty sure he said he was going to win it, but not in a conceited I could be wrong. But I think we were talking about, losing and learning and all the stuff he had talked about. And he's like, we're going to be back and we're going to win this thing next year. And this is how this guy's going to go. It was something in regards to that. So we'll have to pull it up and see if that's the case. If it is, it makes it even sweeter. That he said a year ago on our podcast that he thought he was going to win it. I do remember him talking about just the having some younger guys and finally buying in and playing really well at the end and just losing that match, and so I'm happy for him. Congrats, Coach. Thanks for coming on the pod. Come on again anytime.
Rode his seniors all the way through it.
Yeah.
So,
they were hungry.
Even with, he had a D1 transfer
year, right?
as well in there, but his senior guys that had lost the year before, and they were awesome.
So Dave, I got a question for you. This is, and I want your opinion because you're around it. What is making it so exciting for D3 to grow the way it's growing? Like, why is it growing so fast? It's besides the numbers of kids wanting to play, but you've been around it for a few years now, and you've seen it, like you said, go from whatever it was last year to 21 teams, 14 or 12 to 21, and that's in a 2-year period. We've been talking, and we talk a lot on this pod about the growth of women's volleyball, as we should, and it's going through the roof, and it's going to continue. We want it to, but the biggest growth that I see, besides at the youth level and the collegiate level, is by far the D3. What do you, attribute? What do you attribute to that? Like, what?
I mean, and it's thanks, CK. I mean, look, layman, just observing kind of over there, right? The whole kind of the landscape. When we get some of the coaches on, we need to ask them about it. But even Hugh mentioned the growth in the D3 game, right? So, it all comes down to dollars. And so from there, if schools don't have, say, football teams or other the Reb sports there, they can invest in some of them, right? Others. And there's been, remember this, the NCAA has a formula that it's like every 6+ teams, that's a spot in the tournament. Okay. And so we're up, D3 is up to 21. Next year, there's like 10 more teams starting. And then the year after that, there's another handful or so. So it's huge growth. I'm kind of beating around the bush, but I guess I would answer your question that it all comes down to money and to entice more people into, or more students to apply to the schools who want to be college athletes. And then they can build the teams around them or add the teams to add more student body, is what I would think. There has to be some trade-off there, especially these small schools. I don't know if I said this, but statistically significant amount of student populations at a lot of D3 schools we've been are athletes. And so that's how they entice kids to come to those schools.
Well, for me, us talking about it, having Hugh on and just seeing the growth like you were talking about it, I think it's also has to be watching high school boys volleyball grow. We talked about that on this pod too. So if, I haven't been to a youth tournament in a long time, and I think I need to, because I still have some kids that are playing.
Yep.
I would love to see what boys club volleyball looks like in JOs, for example, or if they do AUs or whatever it is. It's got to be 25 times from when I was watching.
Amen.
And so do you think that's a big part of it too? And kids that play volleyball at that level want somewhere to go, and good schools can add it, like with what you just said, with the reasons behind it?
Yeah, I'm trying to So first off, friend of the podcast, the Demps family. I need to check when they're at the next SoCal Cup. So if you want to go see it, I know you talked about maybe saying hi to them.
I do. I would like to do that, actually.
Let me send you that info.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely. And by the way, I've been looking in and kind of researching for an article for Kevin Pratt's website as well about the coaches. And you get incredible coaches at the D3 level. We know about Charlie.
Yeah.
We know about Tom Peterson. The guy who coaches SUNY New Paltz was an international superstar over in Eastern Europe or something like that as well. Look for that soon. But I'm just saying, there's a lot of positives. In addition to this, when you go D3, you're not on an athletic scholarship. You're generally in a merit scholarship kind of situation. And so even if the sport, you decide to move on and do something, become a student, more of a student, it's okay. You're not going to lose that money as long as you keep your grades up and stuff. So there's a little bit more of a college atmosphere, I think, for the athletes at that level as well. I know my sons have enjoyed the hell out of it, the kind of the balance they've got. But the universities, it's crazy, CK, another 10 this year and another almost, I don't know, half dozen or so in 27. Those are just the ones we know of at this point.
It's so, and I know we're going to pivot to you, Sully, to talk about men's volleyball, which I'm not going to steal any of your thunder with people, but when us four played college volleyball, there was 4 teams that went to the playoffs. I mean, you had your regional at home, but there was no national news and there wasn't 12 or 14 teams in it. And to see that in the D3 level, to go to a tournament, listen, we all watch it in college in March Madness, everyone's excited, to lead up to those. And you see those mid-majors hitting a shot to win their tournament, just to go to the tournament matters so much. And it gets lost in the second or third round because that, Eastern Washington, for an example, or one of those schools, they lose right away. But it matters. It's a big deal. It's something they would get to remember for the rest of their lives. And, to not have many spots sucks. Right. And so when you're grinding and there's more sports, they just said today, that they're going to expand the NCAA men's tournament for hoops and women's. Everyone's up in arms in it. I'm like, well, it's only to 76 from 64. In our sport, they put a libero in, they changed it to rally scoring. Everyone hated it. In baseball, they let the cross leagues play and everyone hated it. Now everyone loves it. I don't think it's a big deal with as much as the growth, but to bring it to our sport, to be in D3 and to go I won D3, there's 4 teams playing, 21 teams is tough.
Right.
And as we just heard from Bear from the JC level, the 8th seed beat the 1 seed. It's possible. It happens. Yeah. It gives you a real chance and a real belief that we have a chance at this. Right. So it's cool to see growth, man. I think it's great. And to have 20, within the next 2 to 3 years, 20 to 30 more teams joining the D3 ranks. I mean, it's awesome for the sport of men's volleyball.
Also at D3, there's no limit on roster size currently at this point. So So they can have big rosters, GCs, 20 plus, mid 20s.
Yeah, so we don't have roster size either. So, roster limit. Anyway. So, hey, before you go, Sully, can I just give a little shout out to, obviously Charlie Sullivan. Okay, congratulations. He's a great guy, well deserved. I did coach one of his players, and I didn't realize that he was on that team. But Dylan Wynn. Okay, congratulations to you. He's a sophomore setter. I coached Dylan when he was 10 years old on a 12-year-old team for Ohana, Paul Munoz's club. And he was the youngest guy on the team at 10. And then he came back the next year and played. And I've watched him grow through the years. He's a great, great person. He comes from a great family. And we still connect a little bit on Instagram. I think he wishes me happy birthday every year or whatever. And he's
just on the pod, Barry.
Well-mannered. That's fantastic. And maybe we'll have to do that. But I'd just like to say congratulations, Dylan. And you have 2 more years there. And I'm sure you're going to be very, very successful.
Yeah, I'm with Coley. Get him on, Bear. I think that'd be a nice little interview.
I'll reach out to him, sure.
Insight from a JuCo coach to, a real coach with the last name Sullivan, I think would be a great, great pod for us.
I agree with you. So Sully, do you want to talk women's collegiate beach first, and then let's end with NCAA men, which is our passion? Do you want to go with men first or go beach?
No, go ahead. I know you've been talking to Dane a little bit, so why don't we go ahead with you, CK? What you got?
Yeah, well, first of all, I told you I'd give a quick shout out to my friend Kobe Jones. He's a legendary soccer player. He got his a statue in front of the Galaxy Stadium. So I was with Dane this weekend celebrating him, and just what an honor to be a part of that, and just to see to see true greatness was pretty special. So, the beach has been pretty exciting. I don't know if anyone's been following, but we'll let you know that the one seed in the tournament, there's 16 teams. We got Stanford playing Chattanooga, Cal playing Long Beach, Florida State Stetson, SC and Dane Blanton playing Texas A&M Corpus Christi. I'm going to jump in here and put a little craziness here for the beach talk, but UCLA was the one seed or one in the country most of the year. But they have a little side thorn right there, and that's Stein Metzger, who used to be their coach, who took over the University of Texas just 3 years ago. This is their third year in competing in college volleyball athletics and women's college, and they won their tournament. They're the 2 seed in this whole thing. They beat UCLA twice, once for the MPS tournament and once earlier in that conference playoffs as well. So Tulane is at UCLA, Grand Canyon, Cal Poly, TCU, LMU, and then Georgia State taking on number 2 Texas. You look at the growth of the women's game too. It's probably the fastest, if not the fastest growing women's college sport ever, maybe in any sport ever. As I've said, flag football is going to surpass that in the next 3 to 4 years, but take that aside, just to see what Stein has done and to see what all these other schools have done. Like we were joking about it on our text chain, and someone was talking about playing Stetson, and Jerry jumped in. Of course, he's like, guys, Stetson's really good. Like, there's a lot of teams that are really good. There's a lot of teams that don't even make it anymore that are really good. 4 years ago, it was UCLA playing USC and everyone knew that. Now it's single elimination, and there's a lot of good teams with a lot of great coaches, and just so many more teams up and coming as well. It's such a great sport. We had someone on recently that'll come out. It was talking about, the women's international game. Compared to the men's international game for our country, USA. And I think it was 3 of the top 4 teams in the world on the women's side are from the United States. But again, they get to play high school volleyball on the beach. They get to play college volleyball on the beach. And the men don't have that, which again, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm happy for the women. They've been, they deserve it. And it's a great sport. And it's exciting. By the way, it's all over ESPN. It starts Friday, May 1st. They changed this. It was either last year or the year before, but it's like most NCAA tournaments, it's single elimination. It's not a normal beach tournament where you get to go in the losers and win back. So it's 16 teams. It's single elimination. The one I'm looking forward to, if everyone holds seeds, Texas, UCLA, I think for either the 3rd or 4th time, and Texas has had UCLA's number, but they would play in the Final Four in the semis. The number 1 seed, who's been one of the best teams all year, is Stanford. And then they would, again, if the seeds were to hold out, SC would be playing Stanford. But there's a lot of good teams, as I mentioned, from Cal Poly to Florida State. Even your 49ers are in it, and, they're pretty good too.
I love some of the matchups you mentioned, CK. Is there one that you think there's going to be an upset in that first round?
I don't. Okay. I think Cal Poly's really well coached and great. I think Grand Canyon could be a sleeper. But looking at some of these teams, like I just think, the Cal Long Beach, 8-9 seed, it's like that in the NCAA tournament. I'm not sure really that's a big upset. I just think schools like Stetson are right there. Like they play Florida State, right? And Florida State's been seasoned. They've been close. They have experience. And it's one match or it's one, series of the five pairs playing. So that's what makes it great to me. Like anything's possible. Your women take fire, a couple jumpies here, cutty here. All of a sudden you're up and a panic sets in. But looking at it, I think this year, and again, this is just my opinion, I think that these teams that are in it that are not UCLA, SC, Texas is already up there just with the funding and the way, they have one of the best coaches that started it all in Stein. I think those schools are just a little bit behind, not a lot. 2 years ago, they were a lot behind. So could they upset them? Absolutely. Are we looking at next year and the years to come, way more upsets? 100%. And I think with the opportunity and the portal and all the stuff that's happening, I think that you're going to see a lot of these women's teams across the country just continue to blow up. Jose Loyola is now at South Carolina, for an example. Right? Like, who would have thought, like, the Gamecocks, Cock and Fire, the Gamecocks of South Carolina were going to be a beach team. Well, let me tell you, we all know Jose's been a coach at UCLA. He's been doing it. He was one of the best to ever play. Like, he's going to bring excitement to that school, that community, and schools like that are going to continue to hire great volleyball coaches that understand the game of beach, and it's just going to continue to blow up. And like we see with the indoor game, like, I don't think there's a cap on how big and how exciting women's collegiate beach volleyball is going to get.
Oh yeah, Holly McPeak must be thrilled. Another guest on Set the Pipe. She was talking about the wave is coming. It sounds like just by the matchups alone, that they're going to be good matches that first round. I mean, they really are. I think the top's going to, the cream's going to rise to the top, but still, I think it's not going to be a walkthrough. And I got to give a shout out to, sorry for Georgia State playing Texas, but there's another Sullivan on that roster, Cabry Sullivan from Club Iowa, that I was able to train when she was itty bitty. I want to wish the best of luck to her. Texas is going to be tough, but nonetheless, you got to root for the kid.
And the last thing I'll say, kind of like Dave, what we were talking about you with the D3 and the expansion, like, I don't know. I mean, it's not, I asked Dane, we talked about a bunch of other things, but I can't see it not expanding. Like, we just talked about the NCAA basketball tournament expanding when they probably don't need to, but they are for the numbers of it. D3's blowing up. I can see this, from 16 teams in the next year or two, going up to 32 teams, just because there's more schools coming into this, and it's going to become more, regionally in your leagues or your conferences. And, it's just going to be pretty cool to watch. Just like all of these levels, we're going to see it's, volleyball in this country is taken off, and it should have taken off when we played. We thought the game was fantastic, but for whatever reason, and the avenues, and maybe it's because of all the content and the media that is possibly shown from everywhere around the world, it's just really an exciting time to be part of volleyball in any part, because it is blowing up on every level.
CK, just curious, did you say last year's finalists, they're not in it? LMU or TCU didn't make it?
Yes, LMU is in it.
They are in it.
LMU, but TCU is not.
And then those, if I remember right, at least the number ones playing each other, heavy international teams, like the Spanish pro team or something like that, right, was on TCU or LMU. I can't remember. But are we still seeing it very international heavy?
No, I wouldn't say very international heavy. That was one of the things I brought up to DB, and we talked to a few different, we talked about it with Hugh. We talked about it with a few others. And listen, at the end of the day, the biggest reason, and this was something I shouldn't say I guess I learned, but should have realized, it isn't the reason like some would think. Like, college is exciting. It's exciting for my kid. And the way Hugh made it sound like they don't have that in Europe. So if you're an 18-year-old kid or a 19-year-old kid, like, you get to come in, like, whatever school, let's Carthage, you get to go to that school and wear their clothes, and people from the community get to cheer for you, and you get to get an education, and you don't get to do that. And like, or if you're playing at Ohio State and you're playing in front of 10,000 people, or Wisconsin, or again, football, basketball, whatever it is, it's an exciting thing for foreigners all over the world to want to come to our collegiate system. And, it's the good news for us. And I think, again, just said earlier that three or four of the top, women in the world are from this country. I think our system's starting to work, right? With the women, beach volleyball became a sanctioned sport here in California. I don't know how many years ago. It's starting to grow throughout the country for high school girls beach volleyball. Collegiate, like I said, 5 years ago, there was a handful of teams and no one was going to go but UCLA. And then last year, there were two teams that weren't those two schools for the first time. And it's blowing up, and it's exciting to watch. So hopefully, in the next couple of years, it expands to 32. And, who knows, maybe in another 5 to 10 years, it's 64.
Did Dane say anything about men's programs, beach programs?
We
just curious.
We didn't really talk about men. Yeah. We talked about the teams in it, UCLA and what was going on, Pepperdine, obviously. And, he had been to a match or two, and just, talking about just the level of men's volleyball, which Sully's going to get into, as we all know, is just simply incredible. The crowds are getting better everywhere. And, but yeah, we didn't specifically discuss it.
Thanks.
Yeah, it'll be interesting in 2028 with the Olympics here in the States, if it's going to catapult some universities going, maybe we should add this women's game. And if they show it on, does anybody know if it's televised ESPN, ABCs? Does anybody know?
You're talking about the Olympics itself?
No, the NCAAs, right? If they're showing it now, and then
yes, for women's beach, it's all on ESPN.
Yes, I'd love to see if we get some good audience there and have some momentum going into the 2028 to see if some universities kind of sit back and go, oh, geez, this is something we might want to start considering adding, right?
Well, with Title IX and a lot of things with expansion of women's sports, and we talk about this all the time. I think it's amazing. It should have happened decades ago. I'm married to an athlete, and I have a lot of my friends that are girl dads, and women deserve equal chance to play. And so when you see it, and a lot of schools still have football in the equation, and it's understandably so, that's a lot of scholarships for football players. It's a lot. And so when you need to try to, get that and break that down to equality, I mean, you're looking at, I don't know, I think it's 10. I don't know if they get full 10 scholarships, but there's 10 women competing
available
with, pairs of fives, and there's more than 10 or 15 practicing and training, and on the 6th and 8th and 9th team practicing, training, trying to get up there. It's a sport. It's 20 25 women that you can have out there, and so I hope every school has it. If every school has indoor women's volleyball and they have basketball, they should have women's beach. And some of the schools, that are cold and in Minnesota and those other schools, they have unbelievable facilities. They could put in two or three courts in an indoor place until April or May, right? And we all watch internationally. I mean, I've seen it, and if you haven't, we'll put it on here. But a lot of women that play FIVB all over the world, like, they're not always playing in the sun. Right. They're in tights. It's cold. Sometimes it's really cold. Sometimes it's raining. Like, that's beach volleyball. It's not like in the 80s where we just played it in Southern California in the summer in the sun. It's a sport. And sometimes, the weather isn't as great, wind, all that stuff. So, I would think that as we grow into the Olympics, and I know LA 28 and the folks that are behind it with USA Volleyball and all of it and the FIVB are going to put on an amazing show and an amazing experience for both indoor and outdoor, or indoor and beach. And so I hope that we truly, we've always been successful in the beach and in the indoor, in the Olympics. It's always watched. Everyone always talks about volleyball,
right?
But only 4 years. Right. They really need to somehow capture that lightning in a bottle this time around
and keep the ball rolling,
and just beyond keep it rolling. So that's my sense. Turn into ESPN. Look on your calendar. I mean, in your guide, it's ESPN2. It's ESPN. Follow the women's collegiate beach NCAA championship. You will not be disappointed. There'll be some great matches. I didn't say there would be an upset, but I bet there will be, probably, just because it's too good of a game to not see it, and enjoy it.
Sully, before we transition to D1, can I give 2 quick shout outs? So just so you know, grow the game, CK. The NCAA might only right now kind of view D1 and hold their championships, but there is small college beach championships that have just happened. Let's give a shout out. Wayland Baptist won the AVCA Small College Beach Championship, and the AVCA Small College Beach D3 Championship went to University of Mary Hardin Baylor, 3 in a row for them as well.
Wow.
So it's at all different levels.
Good for them. So going to Division I want to give 3 coaches some recognition here. So one of our guests, Dr. Anitra Brockman, they finished the season 15-10 for their first inaugural season, winning. Wow, that's pretty impressive, having a 15-10. So RPI 36 out of the 70 teams. That's something to be very, very proud of. Good job, Doc. Super proud.
And made the NEC tournament.
Yep. All good stuff. Then another one of our guests, John Hawks, Coach of the Year for the MPSF. And then another guest of ours, Nick McCray, Big West, Coach of the Years, both of those two. So congratulations to those guys. The polls ended UCLA having the top spot at 29-1 record. Give you the top 5 with Long Beach State, Hawaii, Pepperdine, and SC. And then we get to the tournament. The tournament was announced. We have 2, 4, 6, 8 They're going to be playing first with the number 1 seed will be UCLA, number 2 Hawaii, 3 Long Beach State, and number 4 Ball State. The first matchups in UCLA's bracket will be UC Irvine versus Penn State. In Ball State's bracket, it will be Pepperdine versus Fort Valley State. In Hawaii's bracket, it'll be USC versus Belmont Abbey. And lastly, for Long Beach State, they'll have Loyola Chicago and St. Francis battling. I was able to watch the Hawaii Long Beach State game and a little bit of that UCLA SC match for the MPSF and Big West titles. Just some amazing volleyball. You just kind of shake your head, and I got to admit, we kind of miss Moni quite a bit with what he brought to the table, but that doesn't necessarily mean the volleyball was a step down. It was very fun to watch, very exciting for us Long Beach State guys. You knew Hawaii was in it till the very end, and Hawaii had 5 match point opportunities to put it away and set 4. Couldn't do it. Long Beach State comes back and beats them to get the title. So there's just some amazing volleyball going on right now, guys. And UCLA, SC kind of was challenging them, and they lost in 4, but UCLA came on top. But I think it was 26-24 or 25-23 in that 4th set. So it was a battle. So this tournament's going to be amazing. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 teams in this Division 1/2 national championship tournament starting on May 1st. And then continuing on May 2nd for that second round. And then the 9th is going to be hosting the Final 4. So that's the update for Division 1 right now, boys. And I know everybody's been following it, so I want you guys' 2 cents in there.
Yeah. I mean, go ahead, Dave.
I was just going to say, shout out to Belmont Abbey, Conference Carolina's 3-time champion. They're in it. They're out of Charlotte, North Carolina, near there as well. And then was it St. Francis? That is the NEC champion that ended up winning, that Coach Brockman's team was in.
All right. And they got Loyola. So what you got, CK?
No, I was just going to say, again, we talked about it in different settings, but just to see the expansion of this and to have regionals, in Indiana, Ball State gets it, even though it's not at Ball State, but it's still their nice arena there. UCLA gets to host, Long Beach gets to host, right? Mm-hmm. After winning that. And then, as much as I wanted SC to do it, but it makes sense in Hawaii getting to host too, right? They got the wild card, but they got where they got in the seed. So that Stan Sheriff Center put whatever it is, 12,000 people in it every night. And it's exciting to see that. And it gives more opportunity for teams to play. Like I said, more upset opportunities to have that swing at the fence or, to just pull that upset that someone never would have thought you had a chance to do. I'm going Saturday to the UCLA match.
Okay.
It depends who they play at, on paper it's UC Irvine, but we'll see if that's the case. I just think it's an exciting time. And I said this last year about Long Beach, and I'll say it about UCLA. I think UCLA is the best team. I think UCLA wins the national championship. Just like I said that about Long Beach State. So, hold me if I'm wrong. I do think that there are a lot of teams that are close and can give them a great match and beat them. I mean, Pepperdine beat them one time. But I just think after losing last year, after licking the wounds, after understanding what it took to get there and fall short, very similar to, what happened to Sullivan again. There's a little fire. You guys lost in and out of, you know how that is. And the fire you have the next year is something you just can't, mimic for someone. And I just think UCLA has the best setter in the country.
Right.
And I think they want to win. And when you have those two things and a great coach and support, and you're playing at home, in the regional and in the Final Four, that's my pick. I talked to John today briefly, and it's great because he has the same mentality as all of us do. Is his last thing was, we're not done yet. We didn't come to get the 1 seed. We didn't come to win the tournament. We came to win the national championship, and they're gonna give it all they got for it. So, but again, I'm all excited. I don't really have a dog in the fight. My Matadors didn't make it, so I'm cheering for John, and there's a lot of other coaches I know. So I want great volleyball, and I want people to watch it. And I want people to be excited about it. And I want people to tell their kids to start playing it more and let the NCAA decide to start growing it more, because that's what should happen, because it's a hell of a game.
Did they play Hawaii this year? Sorry, did they?
What's that?
Did UCLA have a match against Hawaii, or have they this year? I know they reverse swept Long Beach, right? At Long Beach, but
They did.
that was the matchup of the.
I don't
think they went over
Okay.
there earlier in the season, but they may have. But they've only
I thought
lost
they,
this match.
yeah,
No,
I thought they played,
I'll
but
look
I'm
it
not
up.
sure.
They played to Pep. They lost to Pep.
Yeah.
For one match, and it's not easy to go undefeated. And we just saw that with Orange Coast, right? Like, you end up losing a match when you're not at the end, and the wheels fall off sometimes, and they're not supposed to. So, UCLA lost, and then they came right back and gave Pepperdine they beat them, and they were able to bring that back. So, that's my pick. Bear, what do you think?
Well, I got a little feedback right now. Can you hear that?
Yes.
You're good. You're good.
But you're good,
Okay.
brother. Go ahead.
Okay. So, Dave, did Hawaii and UCLA play?
They did.
I thought they did.
Mid-season, Hawaii. No, UCLA beat them 3-0 in Hawaii.
Okay. Yeah.
I remember that.
I mean, I'm along with Coley on. I want it to be exciting. I think anything can happen. Of course, being a Long Beach State alumni, I got a dog in the fight, so I'm rooting for them. I think I'm going to that match on Saturday. I was talking to Coach Knipe and today, and he's going to go. So I think I got to talk the wife into it, but I think I'm going to that game, and I can give you guys some feedback on that afterwards.
Yeah, I think you should get a couple get your mic going and get a couple of interviews. I'm going to probably try to do the same. Get a couple people on the mic here for Set the Pipe. Speaking of indoor volleyball, the same Sunday I get to be a part of Jared Elliott's induction into the California Indoor Hall of Fame, and I'll also bring a few mics there for that.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
I think Danny Glenn's getting inducted as well. I think.
Yeah, so I'll get to see Danny. So I'll get perfect. Danny's going to get on the podcast whether he likes it or not. Even though it might be only a couple minutes, interview with him. But there's so much going on in the world of volleyball, and we kind of say it, Dave, you're not on here all the time, but you're on here all the time. If everyone doesn't know, Dave's a huge part of this, and he does a lot of research. We text all the time. We talk about volleyball, sharing stories, whether it's D3, D1, beach, it doesn't matter. I'm just grateful, to be on with you guys. I'm grateful to be able to continue to talk about this. We've had some great guests. We've got some great ones coming on that want to continue to be on this. And, there's a lot of things that bring up in the volleyball world that might be viral, might be this, but we just want to talk about volleyball and the positivity and the stories and what it means to people. And, and it's been really fun doing that. And, I'm excited to continue to do it with you guys. And I just, wanted to say that with all that's going on this weekend, with so much going on with volleyball all over the country, including high school. High school boys here in California just started their postseason as of today. There's Loyola, Miracosta, Redondo, Huntington. There's some high caliber high school volleyball teams that have some of the best players in the country on it that are going to be playing at these big schools in the next couple of years. It's a pretty cool time right now in SoCal.
Yeah, just going over the Division I, going, oh yeah, our guest, oh yes, and our guest, oh yes, and our guest, right? It's just growing, and I got to tell you, so with Alan Knipe coming on the day after he won the Natty last year, I'm hoping whoever wins it this year is going to do the same. So make sure we reach out to our contacts out there, boys, and see if we can potentially rope somebody in. Love to see Charlie Sullivan on there. Dave, if we can grab him on here, even if it's 15 minutes of his time, it doesn't matter. I'd just love to have him on there and congratulate him for sure. And then Bear, I know we've been trying to work on some things with people in Southern California, maybe get Nick Amato on here. Let's talk about his back-to-backs as well. So we got, this is what we'd love to do. And
I actually talked to him about a year ago, right before he won last year. And he said he was willing. It's just got to get him time
Let's
and a date.
do this. Yeah, for sure. So we all have mics and I carry mine in my backpack. So we're going to be doing some more shorts for our audience and for us, just to keep everybody's pulses on volleyball. So that's a pretty good podcast, boys. About 40 minutes of what we love to talk about. It's coming to a peak here. It's coming to an end, but we'll keep everybody on top. You guys got anything else?
Nope. Just shout out to my boy Waldo. 100-mile race, endurance race in 33 hours.
Good God.
So, he inspired me and a lot of our friends, and I've, taught it to my children just about what the mind can do. And, we love sports, and I just wanted to give him a quick shout out because, it makes me want to be better every day, and it makes me understand, to push myself out of my comfort zone, whether it's at the gym or whether it's my work or whether it's just being a friend or being on the podcast. So just shout out to him, shout out to you guys, and always hit subscribe. And if I'm in the back row, you always set me right, just so we know that.
Low, because you can't jump anymore. So make sure it's low.
Exactly. I was like the first one to hit the bic because I could barely jump. They're like, that's a pipe. Well, nah, for Coley,
it's you jump.
Patio just had to put it right in a little window for me. Just bring that out.
Small window. Yeah, for sure. All right, boys, till next time. We appreciate everybody. Subscribe, like, spread the word, and we're going to keep doing this no matter what anybody thinks. We're still going to be doing Set the Pipe. So, boys, once again, another good episode. See you next time.
See you guys.